For this video, we'll take up the homework on simplifying rational expressions. So for the first question, you're just asked to really just simplify the expression and state restrictions on x. So factor the numerator and denominator if you can, and then you can establish what the common factors are. In order to identify the restrictions, just look at the factors in the denominator once you've factored it, and then you can establish what the restrictions are. You cannot let the denominator equal 0, which means you can't let the factors equal to 0. For question 2, for 2a, I expanded and simplified, and then let x equal -3, 0, 1, and 5. And they're all possible because why not, right? It simplifies to 2x squared plus 7x plus 1. That's just a regular polynomial expression, no restrictions at all. Now for 2b though, there are restrictions because you can't let x equals -3 nor 5, because when you have it factored in the denominator, you'll see that those values of x will make the expression undefined because the denominator is 0. So it's not possible for -3 and 5, but it is possible for 0 and 1. So you can let x equal 0 and let x equal 1. For 2c, it actually works out for everything. If you let x equal 3, 0, 1, and 5, it's defined because those values of x don't correspond to the restrictions of -2 and 3. So no problem there. For question 3, if the area is equal to 600 square centimeters, then the length is equal to 600 over w. Okay, and using this idea, you can sub it in for the perimeter formula. I didn't teach you how to add rational expressions yet, so I'm okay if you didn't simplify it, but I guess you can come back to this question later on, and you can simplify by adding the rational expressions. There is a restriction on w. It's the width of this rectangle, so it has to be greater than 0. It makes no sense if the width was 0 or less than 0. For question 4, just same thing as question 1. Just simplify and state restrictions. Now for number 4 though, the factoring techniques are a little harder. Like there's a complex trinomial, some more complex trinomials. You got difference of squares. Now here in the denominator, it's a sum of squares, so there's nothing you can do. Okay, you can't factor this. And in addition, there are no restrictions. So some students have the big misconception that if they see a rational expression, they're eager to state restrictions, but there may not be any restrictions because x squared plus 1 is not equal to 0 for any value of x. As long as x is a real number, x squared plus 1 is never 0. Okay, for D, just same thing, complex trinomial, factor, state restrictions. For question 5, just state relationship for width, length, and height. State the volume, dimensions must be greater than 0. If x is 8, you know the dimensions, just sub it in, and then you can solve for the volume. Question 5 isn't very interesting. I'd focus on question 1 and 4. 1 and 4, just being able to refresh your memory on factoring and use that skill set to simplify rational expressions.